Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 47. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, as always, Tim, Ron, Eric. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here. Tim here.
This is Ron.
Need some more Diet Coke.
And I'm Eric. Hi.
Hello, Eric.
We'll let Tim catch his breath there for a second. So welcome back. Episode, 47 again. We've got good stuff to talk about tonight. We're also going to try to end the show with a Q&A. So if you're watching either through YouTube or the DL page or the Google Plus event page, you might need to go to the Google Plus event page to actually see the Q&A section so you can submit questions and all that. So drop us those, and we will get to those again towards the end of the show. But tonight, as far as topics, we want to talk a little bit about Dennis Woodside's comments about potentially a $50 phone and maybe more customizable options coming to Moto Maker. The Moto X wood finishes are now out. Let's see if anyone is picking those up. Beats Music went live and then sort of got shut down as far as new subscribers go. We also asked everyone earlier in the week whose flagship phone for 2014 they were most looking forward to. And we've got some other stuff to talk about as well, like some apps, things like that. So anyways, let's talk really quickly about these comments that Dennis Woodside made. If you guys saw these, so he talked to Trusted Reviews, which I believe is a UK site. So it must have been shortly after the Moto X launch there in the UK. And the first thing he said to them is, we want to go even cheaper with a phone than the Moto G, which is one. Tim's like, no, please don't do it. So the Moto G at $179 or even $99 here on Verizon. He said they can go cheaper. He said, what did he say? He said, why can't these devices be $50? So $50 off contract phone. And then he continued on after that. Well, he said we're going to push to make that happen. And then later on in this interview, he apparently said, on the more premium side, we're pushing more customization. Today you have colors and the beginning of materials, but you don't have the screen size and you don't have functionality, and we're going to bring all that in the next year or so. So that sounds to me like they're going to just make more options available. You could potentially customize the screen size, or who knows if you could add a bigger battery. I think in the comments of that post we saw a lot of people just say, give me a 1080p display and give me a Droid Max battery and I'd be happy. But where do you guys want to go with that? Do you want to talk about the $50 phone and if we need such a thing? Or do you guys want to talk about customization?
$50 phone.
All right, well, give me your thoughts on that.
I think it's a great idea for people who don't have, for looking to buy a smartphone on a budget. I mean, that's great. I mean, more Android in the hands of more people. That's always good, right? Up that market share, blah, blah, blah. Although, isn't the Moto G already cheap enough? I mean, so say the Moto G is for people who don't need top tier specs and all that. Maybe it's for everyone was like, oh, it's just perfect for my mom, or something like that. They don't need all the fancy stuff. They just need a working phone that has apps, web access, and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Who's the $50 phone for? I mean, is that for kids who are like 3-4 years old who need like cell phone access and all this stuff like that? I mean, I don't really see. And I get like maybe emerging markets and developing countries and all that. They would probably need cheap phones. I don't know if that's going to be the right thing for the U.S. market. I just don't see a $50 phone unless it's kind of like the Moto G in a sense, where it's, it's not bad, but it's not good either. I'm not seeing the niche for it. But maybe it's there. I just don't see it. Everyone says I talk down on the Moto G all the time. Like, I get the Moto G. It's great. It's just not for an Android enthusiast, so a $50 Android phone, I will have absolutely zero use for, but I'm sure someone else will. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
So, Kellen, I have to ask, since Tim brought up the 3 and the 4-year-olds that need cell phones, when is Hendrix going to get his first cell phone? I gotta know.
Oh, it'll be early. I don't know,
How
actually.
early?
Well, he can't move or talk or anything like that yet.
Yeah.
So, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of dreading the day that I have to get him his first smartphone because it seems to happen earlier and earlier to kids. I don't know.
I've got a 2-year-old cousin that can unlock an iPhone, navigate to Skype, and call his grandpa, like, regularly. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Kids,
So,
seriously, they pick up iPads, computers, whatever. I have a friend that yeah, we're talking about kids now. I have a friend that when their daughter was like 2 or something, she would just sit at their kitchen table on their laptop and just watch YouTube cartoons, and she knew how to like find new ones and just go off and on. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I have a niece and nephew, 10 and 7, and I mean, they rock iPads, iPod Touches, and all this. I mean, and they're on Minecraft more than anyone I know. And at first I was like, oh, their worlds are gonna be crappy, and then they were showing me like their tree houses and stuff, and I was like, you guys know technology. I mean, they're smart. And
Minecraft's gonna be the new Legos.
Exactly, and and they're raised with it, so they're like the early adopters of early adopters. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just the way the future is going.
It is.
And phones don't always need to be, I know that it might be bad for a kid to have complete internet access, but as long as parents are responsible with controlling what type of access they have on them, and there's plenty of learning apps and all that they can use, and they can be a great tool for young minds. Although 60 minutes of play a day, get outside, go dig in the dirt, do some good kid stuff once in a while.
Well, I think that's one of the things, like on the Kindle. I think it was the first Kindle HD. They introduced that where you could like have like a certain amount of time where like you can use like a reading app.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like it would shut off access to games and stuff like that, which is actually pretty great.
It's genius.
So yeah, I mean, this phone, I think he sort of said we want to do cheaper because even $179 in some countries is a lot of money. So you got to think it's just going to emerging markets, countries that don't have a lot of money, where even $50 is probably a lot, and it won't be a phone probably that we'll talk much about. I still don't know why we're talking about the Moto G, but we are apparently. Oh, and now I'm gonna get the hate now, Tim, because I just talked down on the Moto G.
Well, I think the other thing too, like the Moto X just got released in Europe, and maybe we'll say something about that. But like it costs, I think it's 430 euros, which is somewhere around 700 US. So like that's the other issue is like when we talk about like a $50 phone, that's in US dollars. So what does that mean in those other currencies? Like there's some issues there when when you're selling phones internationally. And trying to figure out, okay, what's an appropriate cost for this country based on their demographics and their socioeconomic context.
I think the more interesting part of his comments was the other side of it. That what I imagined from his comments was that it's pretty much going to be the exact same Moto X, just it might be a little bigger, might be a little smaller, like it just exact same internals, so they can just churn them out really quickly and just add all of this stuff to Moto Maker. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think the other comments he made were definitely the more interesting part. The fact that you could potentially change hardware with your order. Right now all you can do is say I want 16 or 32 gigs of storage, which we know doesn't take much to do. So
fancy.
Yeah, I mean if I could upgrade display, if I could upgrade battery, if I could upgrade storage, I doubt they'll do RAM, but maybe I could say I want the extra premium camera sensor. Something like that. That would be all upgrades I would take on with some walnut wood back.
With some walnut?
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, especially an upgraded camera sensor. Oh man, if that's like actually legit, like it better be legit. I'll pay a $50 premium for a legit camera sensor. So.
Yeah, interesting stuff though. Just to think that they are potentially going that route of letting you choose essentially what you want. Although if you think about what they're doing with that Project Aura stuff, and not to say that they'll just mold that or blend that into the Moto X, but when you talk about adding different pieces and parts and customizing devices, maybe that has a little something to do with Moto X, or maybe they're using some of what they've learned there to go to Moto X, their manufacturing stuff. I'm not really sure, but upgrading stuff whenever you want, kind of cool.
Yeah, exciting times for Moto. It's going to be a good year, I think.
Hope so, for their sake, because I don't know that the Moto X really sold that well. I know we all like it, but I don't know how well it actually did. Speaking of Moto X, wood finishes now available in walnut, teak, and ebony. They are wood finishes, not exactly... Well, okay, so they're wood. At least this is what Motorola told us. They're actual wood, but they're not... It's not like they chopped down an ebony tree and, chop that up. It's finished wood to look like ebony, if that makes sense. Still wood, Just has a finish on top of it. We ordered a walnut version, so we'll give it a look and see, I don't know, quality, all that good stuff to see how it is. And, yeah, wood backs.
People are going to ask. It's actually a walnut back with black front and black accents, and so it's pretty much murdered out with the walnut back, and we're happy about it.
It is the murdered out walnut Moto X.
I've been waiting for these new wood backs for too long, and yeah, it was almost too late. It was almost too late for Moto, but yeah.
Then they heard you because they read the site. They were like,
That's
well,
right.
we've been asking for it, so we got
Yeah, we know.
Well, these guys, it was actually funny. The day that they were supposed to go live, which was yesterday, I guess.
Yeah.
A couple of readers were wanting them so bad they were on Motorola's like customer support chat, and those reps don't necessarily ever really know what's going on in real time. And somebody told some guy that they were being held indefinitely and that there was going to be no chance in the near future you could buy them. And it was the day they were supposed to be available. We told him to not necessarily listen to that. And sure enough, an hour later they went live. So good
Thank
times.
Yeah. I was scared.
Yeah, Tim got a little worried for a second. You went on their chat and you were trying to get info out of them.
Just to
The guy wouldn't
verify.
tell you anything.
Just to verify. I was like, so what time is the new woods going live? And they didn't even know what I was talking about, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm over this. It's sad I know more than you, but all right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel anytime that I walk into a phone store. When I hear the customer service reps like talk to people about signing up for a new line, I'm like, yeah, okay.
You feel like a total boss.
I just don't say anything because I don't want to be that guy.
I got this exclusive.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. They're not all bad.
The guy that saves them from signing up for Edge.
Yeah, I did do that for my friend, though, who recently just got an HTC One. I was like, they're going to try and sell you on Verizon Edge so hard, but don't do it.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and he was like, you were right. They really wanted me to do it.
That's what they're pushing right now, that's for sure. Early upgrade programs. All right, you guys want to talk Beats Music for a second?
Yeah, let's do it.
First of all, did you guys all have a chance to play with Beats Music?
Did.
No.
Yes.
For a second, Ron, you didn't even install it. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
I just knew I wouldn't want to install it, and now I can't. So.
Yeah, now you can't. So yeah, Beats Music went live, free 7-day trial, I believe, and you can just try it. You don't even have to put in a credit card. You just sign up. Well, you could just sign up and start listening. It's not bad. The app's not terrible. The UI's pretty nice. It looks pretty enough. Although there's a lot of stuff going on, you definitely have to kind of figure out what's going on there. And you can download albums for offline listening and all sorts of stuff. It's not a bad app. Service doesn't seem too bad, but you can't upload your own library to it or anything like that. So it's definitely not as robust as Google Play Music or something like that. I tried it for a while and then stopped using it early in the morning, and I realized my battery on my phone had drained by 3 in the afternoon, and went in and looked at my battery stuff, and sure enough, Beats Music had eaten all my battery, and I hadn't used it in about 4 hours. So
yeah, I had a weird situation. I was using it when I was walking to class, and I get to class, and I sit down, and I pause it, and I back out of the app, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take my headphones out. And then Kanye West just starts blaring.
Oh,
and I had to unlock my phone and then open it back up and pause it, and then it didn't turn off when I thought it would.
Yeah, I've had that happen before. I think Google Play Music did that to me at one time when it was first released. That same bug, which was super embarrassing.
Couldn't you have just paused it from your lock screen, Eric?
Or did it not even show up?
It was doing this weird thing where it wasn't showing up in the notification drawer until I went into the app, and then it showed up. It was, I don't know, it was bugging out.
Sometimes on the Beats Music, I've noticed sometimes it'll show up on the lock screen on KitKat, and then other times it won't. I've been using it. I've been trying to use it exclusively, more so than Google Play Music, and it's kind of terrible. It's not bad. It's not bad. But when I have
you were clear. It's not bad. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
when I have just the overall learning experience of just having to learn a new service over again. Come on, it's crap. And the way it's all set up, or it's kind of confusing. you know, to where if you just you wanna hear a song real quick in Google, there's always that search button right there in the top right, and you can just like find whatever you want real quickly, and more times than not, it's there. Beats music, you know, I've been listening to some sort of like underground stuff lately, and it's just not there, and not feeling it. So
yeah, I haven't played much with the catalog. Is it lacking? Are you definitely noticing stuff missing, or that's just not there?
there's some metal albums that I would need to have, and they just weren't on there. So,
Okay.
but kind of Google is kind of like that too, where sometimes an album will be there, and then a week later it won't be. You know, like it's just, I don't know what the deal is with that. You know, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I'm guessing I just don't know why they would be there than not. But either way, the overall, you know, it's nice. It does drain your battery. Makes my phone kind of run hot.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, it's a music streaming service, I guess. You know, in like the first day of release, I guess you should kind of expect some hiccups here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, you know, it's kind of cool. Once the 2 weeks is up, I'm totally gonna drop it. But figure I might as well get some use out of it, you know. And then also, sorry,
No, go for
the
it.
whole like playlist things. You know how people are making their own playlists or whatever, and then they share like these stations or whatever. I can't stand them because I feel like everyone has like 3 songs of Drake and they're all the same
They
damn
do.
songs.
You're right, they are.
Yeah, and it's really just repetitive and annoying. So I think they really need to work on mixing up their stations a bit. So, and that's that.
I do like the idea, though, that there's all those playlists you could jump into. So if you are having a party or you're at the beach or you're doing something, you can essentially find a playlist that somebody thinks might suit your sort of situation. So I like that there's a whole bunch of playlists available, so you don't necessarily have to go digging for music all the time and create your own playlist. If you just need something on the fly, you can just do that. But yeah, you're right. I saw a lot of Drake.
It's a lot of Drake.
That's really funny.
When I asked what Kellen's name was, and I went to his little profile, the one artist that like showed up on top of the thing was Drake, and I was like,
Drake.
Yeah,
So
because he
much
was
Drake.
everywhere, so I was just tapping buttons, like favoriting things and adding playlists or adding albums just to see how it worked. And yeah, Drake was right there. Him and Yeezus were right there, front page. Just said,
Well,
add me.
I was actually pleasantly surprised. There's a few bands that I listen to every now and then that aren't really that big. One of them they don't exist anymore. They disbanded a couple of years ago, and they had all of the libraries of, you know, a few pretty, you know, small-time bands. I mean, I'm sure if I went digging more, I could find, you know, holes that, you know, Google Play or iTunes has. But, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I liked the app overall. On my way to class, I listened to one of it was like I'm sure everybody had it on their home screen. It was the Justin Timberlake, Kanye West, and Jay-Z playlist.
Oh,
And
surprisingly, I did not.
I listened to that all the way to class, and it was pretty good. So
I like so when I first opened it up, they had like the best metal hits of the 2000s or whatever, and I was like, oh sweet. And then they had like the best pop hits of the 90s. I was like, oh, this is my jams right here.
yeah,
And so a few of them were great, and I really liked that. I kind of felt like it was a more personalized thing. You know, you go in, you select what genres you like, what you don't like. So I was like, okay, no country, no reggae, no, you know, hardcore dubstep, you know, wanker stuff. And then I was like, all right, cool. And so I won't have to worry about that. And then so I feel like it is a bit more personalized. But then again, with Google, you can just add in whatever you want. You don't have to worry about them giving you crap you don't want. So, you know, unless you go to the radio stations, but those aren't bad either. So,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, when it comes to dropping Google and going for this, I would say no way, just because I can upload my own jams to Google Play. So.
Yeah, it would be tough to leave Google Play. And so we're
Well,
working
and Kelly
on...
and I were talking about this. It doesn't have a. No, you can go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to
Okay.
say, I was just going to tell everyone that we're working on a sort of a comparison sheet of all the music services, at least the main ones, so we can kind of let you guys know and sort of lay it out easily to read, to see, you know, pricing, services, what they can do, and things like that. So we'll have that hopefully shortly. We're just trying to make sure all the info is right on it because it's a lot of info. So anyway, what were you saying, Eric?
Well, we were talking, you know, one of the other obvious downsides is it doesn't have a web client. Like,
Right.
I'd like to just be at my computer and listen to it, but I have to listen to it from my phone, you know, which I'm okay with. But, you know, if you want to attract a lot of people, if you want to everybody that it's worth $10 a month, over these other services. You should have had a web client ready.
I could see this going for seven a month, kind of like a Netflix thing, or 8 months. I'm not seeing. Yeah, something,
Free 99.
Yeah, free 99 is good. 5-finger discount. But yeah, I'm not digging $10 a month.
No.
I'm just not feeling it.
I mean, it's got a lot of promise. I really like the user interface.
Sure.
I was one of the people that actually liked the user interface.
It looks nice.
Yeah, I don't mind the UI. It's not bad. It's a little slow, but it's probably because they just took the iOS app and ported it to Android is all they did. So
the sentence thing, I thought that was a good start.
It's neat, but they really need to work on it.
Yeah. I don't like the part. I don't like you can't pick exactly what you want. You
right.
You click something and then you get a list of things, and then if that's not what you're feeling, you hit refresh, and then you have to keep going through this weird list.
And I realized that during the personalization setup, in the beginning, so I didn't hold and get away Latin music.
Yeah.
So now every time I make a sentence, I have Latin pop come in. I'm like, I don't want Latin pop, I want rock or something. So, I mean, yeah, it just takes a little bit more work. Yeah.
That's a good start. See where they go.
Very good start.
Yeah. Well, I think once you're invested in a music service like Google Play Music, you have your own playlist created. You've already found all the stations you like, and you switch, and you have to redo all of that stuff. They need to have a Moto migrate for music services or something where you can just bring all of your stuff over.
Yeah.
But the other thing we
have
want
a great API for that.
Oh yeah. The other thing we want to talk about is their sort of rocky start for Beat. So if you didn't get in initially, they shut down new subscribers essentially for now because they're having all sorts of issues. And what did they do? They're giving out an extra 7-day trial or something like that, or?
Yep. So if you already have your trial started, they're automatically going to give you another 7 days to that. So 14 days in total for new users, people who aren't even subscribed with the credit card, and that's great. So yeah, I mean, I'll be using it for the full 2 weeks, and then I'm gone. It's nice.
Yep, so that's Beats Music. If you haven't tried it yet, you can't yet anyway, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I didn't know that we were supposed to wait for an email. As soon as I heard that it was live, I just went to the website and forgot my password, to log in.
Yeah, that's what I did. I went there and went, I can't log in. What do I have to do? And so I did the same thing. I said forgot password. It sent me an email, and I logged right in.
Yeah, totally. It was cool. It was weird. I was on Google Play. I saw you wrote it up because it was early in the morning. I was just drinking my coffee still, and I was like, what? And so I go to Google Play, and I'm like, is this an app? Is this just desktop thing? Or what's? Because I just read the title, and I couldn't find it. I just searched Beats. And nothing came up, and I was like, oh, what? And then I found your Play link, luckily. But
yeah, it launched on iOS first for a few hours, and the Google Play or the Android app took a while, but yeah, it finally showed up.
Cool. So that's Beats Audio.
So we asked earlier in the week, whose 2014 flagship device are you most looking forward to? And wow, we got almost well over 10,000 votes. But 55% said Motorola, 22% said Samsung, 8% HTC, 7% LG, 4% Apple, 3% other, and 1% Sony. I don't even know who's in other, but
Huawei, man.
They beat Sony. Yeah, does that mean ZTE and Huawei just crushing Sony these days?
2014, the year of Huawei.
Guys, that might be my bad because I didn't add Google to the actual list, so Google could probably be other, I'm thinking. Unless, Kellen, you added it, because I forgot to add it, and then it was already too late. There were already a few hundred votes, and I was like, crap, I forgot Google.
No, it's only 3%, so if people wanted Google, it would have had a lot more votes than that, yeah.
All right, good. All right, well, I was scared there for a second. All right. Go, Huawei.
So let's just go around the table. Who are you most looking forward to seeing what they do this year?
Well, I was one of the HTC people, believe it or not, because I feel like we pretty much know what we're going to get out of Motorola at this point. It's going to be something similar to the Moto X. A few upgrades here and there, but a lot of Moto Maker. I'm really interested to see what HTC has in their back pocket because the One X was a great phone. The One was a great phone. So, I'm curious to see what their next one will be and how it's received by the public, and then if it's not, then rest in peace, because they really need to make some money.
Yes, they do in a hurry. They got to pay our DJ.
I think HTC's next flagship will be cool, but it's probably not even gonna, in terms of a lot of things, not just popularity or sales or anything like that, but just a personal thing. Like it's not going to be as important to me as Samsung and Motorola's next flagships. I mean, as much as I hate to see Samsung dominate the market completely, I think the S5 is going to tear and dominate and be totally awesome. And I mean, at least from the rumors we've seen so far. I mean, I don't care so much that it's going to have complete spec domination and all this stuff, but I just have a feeling that the S5 is going to be like a serious flagship phone, and I'm excited about that. And then, of course, Motorola, just because to get a new Moto X type deal. And so that's it. Sony, they're the... I'm a fan of ZTE more so than Sony. Sorry, I just don't. Their bodies I just don't like, and their UI is just terrible. And of course, my opinion. But I just don't like Sony's devices. Sorry. I mean, their cameras should be good. Whenever we play with them at CES, they always look great. I'm like, wow, look how responsive this is. And then you get them at home, and you're like, this is crap. So
it's okay. They're only 1% on the poll. I don't think anyone else cares either about Sony.
Yeah. So Samsung, because they're gonna be Samsung, and Motorola just for a new Moto X. So.
Ron, who are you looking forward to?
Well, it turns out I actually voted for Sony.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, turns out the one that Tim doesn't like is the one that I like. So,
exclusive.
Yeah, no, I think at least the Z1 Compact was pretty interesting to me, especially because it's the first time as far as I can remember, that we've seen a manufacturer release a phone in a smaller size that has all the same specs and all that, which I think is very, very impressive. And Sony, I mean, from what I've seen from reviews and things like that, for the Z1, it looks like it's got a pretty nice camera. So the UI stuff, I'm not a big fan of Sony's UI, but it's also pretty easily replaced at this point. So they're the ones I think they're doing. They're doing hardware that is still very distinct from everything else that's on the market. And we've seen HTC and really just HTC come out a little bit different. Everybody else is kind of just doing plastic shells for the most part. But I think Sony's doing a good job differentiating in terms of design of their hardware. And I wouldn't mind seeing them buy up CyanogenMod and making that their Android skin. So yeah, that's who that's who I'm most excited about seeing, particularly seeing if Sony's able to break into the U.S. market in any way. So far, they haven't really done that, but I think it looks like they're trying to maybe do that in the future. So I think that'd be interesting. Outside of that, though, I'm really just excited to see what Motorola does with the successor to the Moto X.
Yeah, I would say initially I don't think I would ever say I wouldn't think that I would have ever said Samsung, but like Tim said, the stuff I know it's all rumors, but I also get the feeling that they're going to actually change up TouchWiz and hopefully make it decent for once, because that's the biggest thing I've had against Samsung phones is their TouchWiz, their UI, and all that stuff. So if that changes, I'm not really the biggest hater of plastic phones. So if they give us another plastic phone, I don't care. But I do feel like last year so they went Galaxy S3, and then the S4 was kind of like how Apple goes 4, 4S, 5, 5S, that kind of thing. That's what the S4 felt like to me. It was the in-between year. And then
if you asked Tim, it was completely different. Radical redesign.
That's totally what I said, Ron.
Boy.
You
Roll
totally
the tape.
quoted me right there.
Roll the tape.
No, you're such a troll. Like
you're
not
trolling it, and you're biting on it. So.
Yep.
You know that the S4 is different from the S3, Kellen. I mean, like, design-wise, it is
I know.
different.
I didn't say the design. I know they're different. I even said they could be different. I'm just saying.
Barely. Shut up.
I'm just saying it felt like one of those phones that they didn't do a ton to innovate with, other than a whole bunch of software gimmicks.
Yeah, totally.
So.
There was definitely a bump, in processor, bump in the camera, bump in.
Well, yeah, Apple does that too. They bump things.
Then why is any phone like?
I'm just gonna step out of the conversation. I'm doing my job. I'm done.
So year over year, what do you expect? I'm just saying, like, the way that phones, it seems that they're upgrading hardware and software. It's every 2 years.
Well, I think everybody expects. Well, that's not necessarily true though. We've seen HTC innovate year over year, and I think like. Everybody expects iterative hardware, I think, because that takes a lot. Like, that's just how chipsets work and things like that. But
sure.
So you can redesign the chassis, and they decided to not really do that. But software was the big space where, at least for tech journalists across the board, unless there's like a Samsung blog or whatever, like everybody has consistently said that, like, hey, TouchWiz needs to be updated, and they've updated it in little bits, and they've added functionality and things like that. But in terms of the design, they haven't really changed it since Gingerbread, and that's been the main issue.
I am not arguing about
TouchWiz
at all. TouchWiz isn't even on the radar for me. TouchWiz is crap.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, the overall design of the S4 is actually quite different from the S3 in my opinion, and that's, again, my opinion. But the S4,
have a wrong opinion. It's fine.
Then why am I completely turned off by the S3, but I'm very turned on by the S4? So for some reason in my mind, they are.
Improved it. It's not the same phone. They improved it. That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about the design.
Basically the same
I'm only talking about the design here. Like, that's all I'm talking about. I like the looks of the S4 a lot more than the S3. And that's
well, then, like, be more specific about it though. Like, what in particular do you like?
The flatness of the front, considered to the roundness of.
So you prefer a flat front and then a rounded edges.
Correct, but then I don't like the same thing on the Note 2 versus the Note 3, because on the Note 2 you needed that curve to kind of help with the in-hand feel, and the Note 3 it's too flat,
Such a fanboy.
fanboy.
So they squared off the devices a little bit. The Galaxy S4 and Note 3 are a lot more square than the original ones. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is the Galaxy S5 I think will be completely different than the Galaxy S4 and S3. While I think you'll be able to tell that it's still a Samsung device, I think it's going to be a pretty big change. I think this is one of those years where they're really going to do something different. I just hope it's good, and I think they realize that maybe they need to focus more on design, especially with their UI and probably the hardware too, and so we could see something cool.
Yeah, and we've seen some leaks with that, but I think the one thing that we won't see them change is, like, that home button's probably never going away, right? Like, that's
what I was just about to say.
Which is
blow some minds. It would just come out and be like, no home button.
Right. Well, like, it's gotten to the point now. I've been, every time I look at an app, if it's supported for iOS and Android now, I'll see, like, it'll have, like, the little, like, cutout, for lack of a better word, of, like, an iPhone, and then it'll have a cutout of a GS4, where it's got, like, the different, like, the round home button and giant screen, or the elongated round home button, or the like, that's like the S4/S3 is representing. This is Android now, for a lot of app developers, which I think is pretty sad and interesting. But, like, if you're gonna pick a device, like, that's the one you pick, right? That's the one that most people know and recognize.
Yep, exactly.
Kind of crazy, like, that's become the iconic for a lot of people. It's become the icon for Android.
Yeah, so now everyone refers to Samsung phones as either the Galaxy or the Droid still. I think it's the Droid Galaxy.
If I ever hear somebody say the Droid Galaxy, I'm just gonna walk away. It's
I've got that new Droid Galaxy. Yes, you do.
Every time, like, my wife will sometimes ask people what phone they have, and they'll be able to get out the word Galaxy, and that's about it.
That is pretty much all they know.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, Motorola, I'd like to see what they're up to, just because I think they did some really cool stuff, obviously, this year, and I hope that they continue that, but we actually see that translate to sales and consumers buying it. I do want to walk down the street and see people with the new Moto X, not just the next Galaxy, Droid Galaxy. LG, I'm not sure that I really care what LG does, because whatever Samsung does, they're going to announce the day before and act like they just invented it, so... whatever, LG.
It's a little thing we call innovation.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so Kellen hates innovation. That's cool. That's good to know. I think what the successor to the G2 is probably going to be a total beast. Like I love
it is. I agree.
Yeah.
It is.
And
I love the G2.
And it's unfortunate that I think that they don't really, get the attention they kind of deserve. Like they've come so far. It's just their UI. It's total garbage.
Well, if they stopped playing,
it's better than TouchWiz though. Come on. It's better.
I know. Having the little brother syndrome for Samsung, I would respect them a lot more.
I like TouchWiz more so than I like LG's Nature UX or whatever.
No.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you.
TouchWiz is the Nature UX.
Have you ever
Come on, Tim.
I thought not. So when
it
you
was
pull
called
down,
Nature UX for all 2 months, and then they realized everyone hated it.
When you pull down the notification bar on a G2, there's just way too much stuff going on.
Like you could turn it all off.
I know, but I'm talking about the stock experience. This is what they ship from the factory, and
it's bad. Yeah, I agree.
It's just horrible.
Slide, a bunch of other crap in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So either way.
Look, I'm excited for the G3. I've seen them for 2 years now. Every time Samsung's about to announce something, the day before LG goes, "Look, we did it first." And you just go, "Come."
I mean, it's not he's not joking.
I know, I'm not joking. That's what they've been doing.
I'm trying to get this across to people watching, but that's not a joke. It happened with the LG, the round phones.
The G Flex and
right before Samsung was going to announce the round.
Yeah, but those are completely different. Those are completely different curves.
Yeah,
bro.
but
it's all about the curve.
Something.
You're like, oh wait, just kidding. Wait, we're first.
Yeah.
They did it the night before the Galaxy S4 unveil. They said, we have this really innovative software feature that you can... What was it? It was something to do with video. It was something watching video. You could slide something around. I don't know. It was a feature that we all knew was coming.
Make it more transparent so you could see through or something like that.
I can't remember if that's what it was, but it was something we all knew was coming. No. It was something we all knew was coming to the Galaxy S4 and was going to be a big feature announced the next day. And LG sends out a press release the night before and goes, "We're doing this. It's coming in a software update." And we all just kind of, oh my god.
Was it maybe eye tracking?
It might have been eye tracking. Yes, it was. It was the pausing of video.
Yeah.
It was pausing a video when you looked away, which we all knew was coming to the Galaxy S4. And LG goes, "Look, we're doing this. It's coming soon." They did it. They've done it with 3 other things. Well, I mean, LG is doing some good stuff. I'm just giving them crap because I think that's just a ridiculous way to do it, but whatever. I think they even attempted to threaten a lawsuit or something at Samsung at one point. I don't know. Whatever. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Everyone's got their flagships they're looking forward to. Oh, I didn't mention HTC. HTC, I guess I'm interested in what they're doing.
Neither did America.
Yeah. Hey, they got 8%. I guess I'm interested in what they're doing because
it's more than their market share. It's pretty good.
It's way more than their market share.
Zing!
I think what you guys said, how they went from the 1X to the 1. So when you talk about, not to bring up the Galaxy S3 to S4 thing, HTC went completely different, right? 1X to 1, which is a pretty big change. If they could do that again with whatever they're going to call this thing.
The 1-Up.
The 1-Up.
Please think about it.
Please don't do it.
Think about it.
So yeah, whatever they do, we'll be watching, I guess. HTC. Let's see what we got. Last minute. Anyways, what else do we got? Oh, Google Contacts. Did you guys see that story last week?
Yeah.
Google Contacts thing. Coolest thing ever, or what? So basically, it's for people with, or it's for diabetics, right? And the contact can read your glucose levels through tears. That's kind of a cool idea. This has nothing to do with Android, by the way, but I just thought it was awesome.
So you're like, man, I got to get my glucose level. Punch me in the stomach so I can cry, and then my tear, my contacts.
It's better than sticking a needle in your stomach.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. The fact that they're doing stuff like that. Actually, I think I saw someone go, "This is the future of Google Glass." No, it's not. This is a medical
you don't want that
device.
In your eye.
Yeah, you don't want that in your eye trying to look through. But anyways, that's coming someday. I think they still need all sorts of approvals and stuff, right? They're just kind of
and they're trying to figure out, because right now it would send the data to your phone, so they're trying to figure out a way to put it on the contact, which would be.
So that you could just see it heads up almost in a contact?
Yeah, basically. Cool. Which would, and that's, I have my little sister-in-law has diabetes, so, that's something that I've had to see her deal with and struggle with, and so like that's like trying to manage that and figure out insulin levels and figure out like it's a lot of work. It's super annoying. So having something that would make that a little bit easier and also like less invasive publicly, like having to give yourself insulin shots and stuff like that in public, like if you're able to like at least track that or whatever without having to be super crazy about that, like I think it's a cool idea. I think it's a cool innovation, and obviously if they're able to implement that, like there's all sorts of other ways that they could use that technology as well.
Yeah. It's just cool to see Google do some of the stuff they do. We talk about Google Play All Access and all that fun stuff, but some of these other bigger projects they do, internet across the world and contacts and fiber and whatever else, but I don't know, cool stuff. So anyways, that's coming someday. Oh, I forgot to mention AT&T's new move to get you out of contracts. Did you guys see that whole story?
Yes.
So AT&T is reacting to every single thing that T-Mobile does, and it's actually kind of hilarious. So they created their next upgrade plan, and then they created their no contract mobile share value plans or whatever they're calling them, where they actually pulled the subsidy cost out of the plan, so they're actually not that bad of a deal. And then now they're telling people who are under contract before, I think it was January 19th or something like that, they will let you out of your contract once you've been in it for 6 months if you sign up for Next and also join one of their mobile share value plans. It's just such a weird thing to see AT&T do this whole... clearly they're threatened by what T-Mobile's doing, which is fine because T-Mobile's trying to sort of change the industry a little bit, but AT&T now asking you, and they were essentially saying, please get out of your contract, when for years everyone has been trying to get us all into contracts. It's kind of just a crazy idea that we're, or crazy sort of just error I think we're seeing under wireless carriers. So I don't know. Do you guys want to do Q&A?
Oh yeah, Q&A. Let's do it. I was looking at the questions. I was like, oh man.
All right. If you were looking at questions, if you were looking, then pick one.
Well, someone just asked when the next Tato show was going to be, and with special guest Ron. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Ron about his schedule and when we're going to be free. I don't know. Our schedules conflict, like our opinions on a lot of things. So maybe next week or something like that. I don't know. We'll be out. The next question was...
Well, hold on. Post the link real quick in the IRC again for people who are in there.
I think I got
posted it earlier.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, everyone can feel free to go ahead and hit that link that Kellen submitted. And you'll
You're right, there are a lot of questions for Tim.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm popular. Tim, what's jank now in the world of Android on Android? What's jank on Android? The fact that I'm still waiting for Tiny Wings and Quiz Up to come out on Android is complete BS.
They're never coming.
I know that Tiny Wings will probably never come now, but I've been stalking the Quiz Up Twitter feed and their Google Plus private Android beta, just please let me in. I really gotta have it. They don't care that I'm at Droid Life or anything like that. They don't care that I could help them get downloads to 1 million on the first day. They don't care, and that's the problem. And that, to me, that developers don't see the importance of releasing Android sooner than later is very janky. I do realize that that's not really janky, it's just BS, but it's still, I can't really think of anything that's actually janky. Well, once we find out if these new wood backs are super, super awesome, those could potentially turn out to be pretty janky. I mean, we haven't had real eyes on with these, kind of new wood back with that type of finish, so there's some jank potential, but I'm hoping it's not. So.
All right.
But you wouldn't call the Moto G janky?
No, because it's $100 and some odd. It's made to be jank. You can't call something jank that's just made to be jank.
So as long as it's priced in the jank zone, we
exactly.
Can not jank.
Thank you. Yep.
All right.
You got it.
The Beats app is definitely janky.
Yeah.
All right, I'm picking a question that says, just heard a rumor about a Nexus 8. Is there anything on a new Nexus 10? What would you like to see in the new Nexus 10? I know nothing about a new Nexus 8 or Nexus 10 at this point. If you want something that's a Nexus 8-like, get the LG G Pad Google Play Edition. It's not that expensive, and it's a really good tablet. As far as Nexus 10 goes, so a week ago, somebody sent out, and we posted screenshots of it, what was apparently an internal inventory screenshot or something of a new Nexus 10 made by Samsung. Well, I think all of us that received that tip essentially kind of pulled it back. I don't know. It was sent to so many sites, it seems kind of hard to believe. It almost seems like a giant troll job. So we don't really know. It could be Asus making that. It could be Samsung. Or maybe there's not even a new Nexus 10. We don't really know. We thought we would have had it a couple of months ago, and we still don't have one. So no new news on Nexus 10 front. So,
yeah.
Unfortunately. By the way, the current Nexus 10, which is now sold out in both 16 and 32 gigs, so you can't even buy it. It's a good tablet. It's actually still the tablet I use if I grab a tablet. So.
Yeah, that's all I was going to say. Yeah, if you're looking for a Nexus tablet, just go for the G-Pad.
Yeah.
8.3. It's a good tablet. Although that yellow tint on the screen is kind of annoying, but that's,
Oh, does it have a yellowish tint? That's too
yeah, bad. I mean, if I wasn't so busy, God, I could, yeah. I'll have to get I really just want to touch on the screen tint in and of itself. So if I can't even get a full review of a tablet, because reviewing tablets is sort of like, they're all kind of the same, there's just little things, so like a quick review, it's mostly going to talk about the screen. So, there it is.
Hint, hint, coming later.
And yellow tint.
Let's see. Somebody wants to know if, here, I'll just click select. Do you think the rumors of a 4.8-inch iPhone could actually be true?
Absolutely.
Ron, take it away. You were talking about this earlier.
Who knows? They haven't announced anything. Anything could be possible. They test all sorts of things. You won't know.
Nothing is confirmed. Yeah.
There's not. I mean, it's more. I'm seeing more and more chatter from Apple bloggers about that being a possibility. I think a lot of people are recognizing that that big phones are not just a random. What's the word? It's not just a fad. There we go. So they're here to stay. People are recognizing a lot of use cases for them. In particular, I think Gruber makes a good point to say that with the iPad Mini and Air having the exact same specs, just different screen sizes, that potentially could be Apple's future roadmap for the iPhone, having two different screen sizes for whatever you want, and then having the same specs. So that's possible. Anything's possible. They could release a 6-inch phone. Like, who knows? Like, they don't release these things. You'll see some things leaked when it gets closer to September, and then you might have a good idea. But
when did the 5S come out? Was that September, October?
5S, I think, was September 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. And when was the 5? Was it the previous September, or was it?
Yeah, it was also previous September.
Okay.
And it was October before that. So
Okay.
it's
So
always been in that
fall.
range.
It's
Yeah, it's fall. It's still
Okay.
fall.
All right. That should be interesting to see them do that. I think it's about time they make a iPhone that has a bigger display. They've kind of held on to the 4-inch thing for a while. It is 4 inches right now, right? Yeah.
It's 4. Yeah, it's been 4 inches since the 5. So yeah, they'll just have to figure out if they're gonna increase the resolution, and then they'll have to figure all that stuff out for developers and what that will look like. So
yeah. Let's see what else we got. Thoughts on Samsung blocking third-party accessories? Have you guys heard anything or followed this at all?
I haven't heard that at all.
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah. So when the Note 3 first came out, there was talk about Samsung potentially blocking third-party accessories that aren't approved by them, essentially. And I think they have either a chip or a magnet or a couple of things built in to their own accessories and the Note 3 to sort of, I think, allow that stuff to work when you attach it, like a back or something like that, or a case or charger or something like that. I don't know exactly how they're doing it. But anyways, today over at XDA, I think there's a couple of threads going because the Note 3's KitKat update is starting to roll out in a couple of countries. And a bunch of people, once they got the update, or at least flashed a ROM or something with like a TouchWiz KitKat, a lot of their accessories weren't working. Now, I haven't had a chance to fully look into it. I think Kyle actually wrote it up, so we have a post, I think, coming on it soon. But I think that's terrible that they would start blocking third-party accessories. I mean, there's accessory companies that make, a living selling cases that they probably don't have probably will never be able to get approved by Samsung. So I don't know. I think it's crappy.
Maybe they should do better. I think this is Samsung wanting to do some quality control. I mean, if it's kind of like a legit thing that's going on here. Quality control. You want your users to make sure that they have the best experience possible, and so they want to make sure that only Samsung branded items are. I'm just trolling with it. I think
I was going to say, that's just a terrible way to think about it. Because
I mean,
somebody
Apple did
buys
the same
an
thing
accessory that doesn't even say Samsung on it. They're like, yeah, we don't want them buying that, thinking it's us. Like, such a troll.
I mean, Apple did the same thing last year, so I'm not surprised whatsoever with that whole charging debacle for the 5S.
Well, it wasn't a debacle. They licensed out their proprietary charger.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing crazy about that. They did that with the original adapter as well, and then they licensed it out. Yep, with the 30-pin adapter.
I think you should really be worried if the Galaxy S5 has its own proprietary adapter. Then you should get really
God, if they move away from micro USB, I'm just
Can
gonna
you imagine.
that would be bad news.
Then we know Samsung's getting a little too big for their britches.
Yeah,
they
kind of already are.
That's cute.
So, anyways, we've got more coming up on that. I believe Kyle's written that up while we were doing the show, so you'll have to read up on that. We're still kind of learning about it as well because this just came across this afternoon. So, not a good thing though.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Any word on when the Facebook UI overhaul is coming? I have no idea.
So actually,
I don't use Facebook, so I don't know.
I do have info on that. So right now, it is only available for users of the Android beta, and it's an extreme slow rollout through the beta. And there's actually thousands upon thousands of people in that beta, so they're taking a lot of time with it. They want to make sure that they work out all the kinks and all that fun stuff, but no time frame for when it's going to see a public launch or anything. But it is in the beta right now, which you can sign up for. So it just takes time to roll. Even I don't have it, and I've been in the beta since day one. So it just takes time. But it is coming.
Good stuff. Oh, here we go. Where'd that go? If you made the switch from Verizon for the N5, Nexus 5, would you use a custom kernel or ROM, and why? I think we've talked about this a little bit. I haven't flashed a ROM in a while. My Nexus 5 is just stock. It's rooted, unlocked, but I haven't flashed it. It runs fine. I actually got an email from somebody today that was about a custom kernel for it, and it said it like revives the phone or makes it completely better or something like that. I don't have any problems with it. Nexus 5 runs great for me. It's super smooth. So
that's a placebo effect type thing.
It is.
You know, I think the Nexus 5 is already, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's definitely just overall great experience, Android experience. So to me, I wouldn't need to flash it. We were big on that. That's like where we got our start.
Yeah.
You know, it's flashing kernels and ROMs. Now I just don't see a point. So, well, that's just me.
I think I would, but only if I had a Nexus device. I don't want to. I've had my days of, thinking that I bricked my Droid 2 and my, Droid 3 and trying to flash Fusion and Fission and all that kind of stuff. I've done that. I've been there.
Poor Eric.
Scared myself enough times, but. For a Galaxy or for a Nexus device, it's nothing to throw a ROM on there or something. So I would probably. I don't usually like to go for AOKP or something like that. That's really tricked out. I try to kind of keep it close to simple with some developer.
You like the bare bones stuff.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, if I had the choice, I would actually take stuff away if it would make the phone run faster. But that's just me. So.
I completely agree. Sometimes I think when it comes to custom ROMs, less is more for me. Like I don't need a whole bunch of Pimp My Ride additions going on. I don't need a jacuzzi in my back. Like I want it just to run smooth, run well. You
got a jacuzzi in it.
I know, dude. Exhibit's the man. None of that stuff is street legal, but it's awesome.
It's awesome. Let's see.
We got time for one more. It's almost 7. And we still got to do apps.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so how about this one? Thoughts on Android coming to cars? Do you guys think it will expand to more manufacturers? So that was one of the topics that sort of rolled out throughout CES was Android coming to cars. I think we've talked about it a little bit. I'm just excited for all of the terrible navigation technology and all that's in cars right now to just go away. And if I can easily or more easily pair my phone or something with my car or bring my music collection with me and I don't have to use Bluetooth or something, all of that stuff sounds great. Google Maps built in. I can't believe that Google Maps isn't already running everybody's navigation, stuff like that. So I'm super excited for it. Anybody else?
I'm not excited about bringing potential jank to my car because that's the last thing I want. Is like, oh, your car is force closed. Like, oh crap. Like that'd be kind of bad. But no, in terms of the navigation stuff, and like, say if there was like an NFC tag embedded in the dash, and you could just like touch your phone and boom, all of a sudden it's connected. Like no messing with anything. That would be great. I think the potential is there, although I don't want it to be super cheap. You know, like there's like cheap Android tablets. You know, like I don't want it to be some jank. You know, just like I said, coming to cars. I want it to be refined and nice, and that's why I like that Audi is working with Google on it and making sure it's good. So
yeah, I think that's part of the scary thing is that in-car navigation and technology has been so terrible for so long that I don't know that I trust the car manufacturers, even with Android, to make anything that's decent. So I think we're still going to just be bringing our phones in, connecting to Bluetooth, and hoping it all works that way. Because otherwise, yeah, it could still be bad, especially for a while. Now we had to go through phone manufacturers learning how to fine-tune Android, and that took what, 4 years? Now we have to wait for car manufacturers to do the same thing. Could be a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no more questions. You guys want to jump into apps and wrap up?
Sure.
Thanks for the questions, by the way, Pete.
Although someone did ask what jank was. I mean, it's just something that doesn't run well. So.
Can you Google jank? Define jank.
Jank is the Droid 2.
Problematic blocking of software applications user interface due to slow operations. Janky.
Boom. Jank. I was the one that put the definition there, but yeah, that's it.
I'm looking on Urban Dictionary now. Unnecessarily redundant, meaningless, stupid or ridiculously moronic, bootleg, or of questionable quality. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
That's probably more like it there, yeah.
Yeah. So for apps and games today, I wanted to talk about two. First, is an app called Lumos. It's an icon pack. I think I even talked about this last week.
I was going to say, did you talk about this last week?
Yeah, but now we have like a date and all that stuff. Like it's coming out.
We did last week too. We were all worried about accidentally announcing it.
Oh, well, here we go.
Yeah,
again.
I said the date and you guys were like, are you supposed to say that?
Oh, okay. Well, either way. It's more free promotion. So, yeah, Lumos, Dave Cover, CoveDev. He's done Nox, Tursus, Lusa, Color, and like Lusa, whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's too Luster. There's too many. So Lumos has some great wallpapers. I like the icons. I know Kellen's rocking them. I'm rocking them. Every time that Dave has a new pack, we're rocking them. So yeah, we're excited for Lumos. That'll be up on the site. I'll write it up. It's gonna be $199 when it drops on Friday. So. Yep, there's Beats Audio.
There's Beats Audio.
Well, I was showing it because it's got an update.
Oh, yeah, they fixed some bugs and stuff, but nothing real big. Since you're plugging icon packs, though, we got sent one that's in beta right now called Influx. So it's in beta on Google+. It's coming in February. But if you want to join their Google+ community, I think you can probably just search for it maybe and find it. Yeah, it's called Influx. It's promising-looking icon pack as well. It's got some really good wallpapers that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then the last one that I have is a app called Quicker-Action Launcher, and not to be confused with Action Launcher. That's available on Google Play. This is Quicker, Quickr, no E. I hate it when they do that. So Quicker-Action Launcher. It works alongside your current home screen like launcher. It just runs separately, and what it does is it puts these invisible tabs on the side of your device's display, and you pull out and you can get system toggles, or you can get recent apps, or you can also set it to where it does like popular tasks, like you could send out a tweet right from your little swipe with your finger. And you swipe out, you hold your finger down, you kind of zoom over what task you want. You can update your Facebook status. You can pretty much do anything that your phone is able to do all from your home screen. So if you're not like me and you actually like going into each individual app and doing everything like that, then Quicker-Action Launcher might be the app for you. So take a look on Google Play. It is free to download. There is a premium version, which is available. And I think all that does is opens it up to have more like customization to where you can kind of switch up where your toggles are and stuff. I don't know if it's anything too special. I didn't buy it.
It looks like it's a pretty decent little app, though, if you want to do that whole multitasking quickly.
It's not too bad. Although the thing with Android is that it has this kind of proactive task killer kind of thing built in. So an app that runs in the background always has to have that little icon in the notification bar. And my OCD just goes off, and I can't stand that. So I kind of stopped using it just so I didn't have to see the notification icon in the bar. So, yeah. So I'm not using it right now, but I was using it for a couple of hours, and it was nice. But I know some people don't mind that stuff, so I recommend it.
I had an app, and now I totally lost it.
Ooh.
That's
you
my
had
bad.
one.
I had one. Anybody else have an app? I feel like it's slowed down on the whole app front recently. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yeah. I don't know where they are. Oh, they're right behind me. So I picked up a bunch of... So there's a Google Play Nexus accessory sort of deal going on right now, and I picked up these Nexus 7 sleeve, and I picked up 4. So... Here, let me turn these around. So we're going to give these all away. So here. They're actually really nice if you want a sleeve. I did a review kind of one today, and they're actually really high quality, nice sleeves for the 2013 Nexus 7. So tomorrow we'll be giving away all 4 of these. Thought we'd just announce that a little bit. Otherwise, anything else you guys want to toss out there? Super Bowl predictions? Oh, we can do that next week.
Yeah, we could.
Yo, is anybody going to watch the stupid Pro Bowl?
No, no one's watching
there's
the
no
draft
reason to watch
Pro Bowl.
that. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Although Jerry Rice, I love seeing him.
Did they do the draft for that already? I missed it. I haven't even
No, I
been
don't
following.
think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, probably won't watch that. I haven't watched it, I think, ever. I've got nothing else
Andrew
today.
Luck's going, though, so actually, I might tune in for a little bit.
Your
So,
boy, Andrew
boy.
Luck. I think that man has the worst beard in the history of beards.
No, it's gone now.
Oh, did he finally shave it? Good.
Yeah, it was the day after they got knocked out of the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
They were there in the morning, and the first picture that got tweeted out was him with no beard. It
Okay,
was very
good.
sad.
Good job, Andrew. All right, well, yeah, I've got nothing else then, so might as well wrap it up. Episode 47, right? What up,
Goodbye,
Thor?
everybody. Have a fantastic evening.
Goodbye.
Look at Thor.
He's getting big, man. Remember when he was just a little puppy?
I remember when he was a little pup. Yep.
Oh, man.
He's a beast now.
He's a massive dog. Jesus.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us again, everyone. Episode 47 in the books. We will, pretty sure we'll be back again next week with hopefully lots of fun stuff. Hopefully something big happens. Hopefully somebody announces a device or something. I don't know. Or a new software build leaks or something happens. Yeah, we're in that sort of beginning of the year lull right now. So hang with us. It'll get better, we promise. Anyways, yeah, we're out of here. Peace.